Mega Man is one of my all-time favorite franchises, so it might seem strange to be featuring Mega Man Legends since it's hardly a typical Mega Man game. But it's always occupied a special place in my gaming heart. CoreyOTM here, and this episode of Hoverview is a bit of a retrospective. We're going to take a look at Mega Man Legends and see if it can transcend the nostalgia. It starts right now.
Here we go!
Like all red-blooded Americans, I was hyped for the new 3D Mega Man game to come out. I read the magazine blurbs calling it Mega Man Neo, promising a bold ascension into the next generation. I got it when it came out, and I was too young to be judgmental about content. I just accepted things for what they were, instead of thinking of them as a series of designer choices. And that brings us to the most controversial aspect of the game. It's not really a Mega Man game. I mean, it has Mega Man, Roll, a guy named Wily. Nice guy, by the way.
You can use it anytime you want.
But it doesn't even have any Easter eggs. Not even a passing reference. I mean, I do like the game, but I think the Mega Man part is problematic.
No!
In fact, I think it might have actually been more successful as a standalone IP, because that way it wouldn't have alienated those people who were not already fans of Mega Man. I mean, I like the fact that they refer to him as Mega Man, as if that's a totally normal name.
Okay, Mega Man.
What you call it, Mega Man?
Mega Man.
And I accept Mega Man Legends as a whole as part of the fractured, Mega Man canon. But upon replaying it, I was kind of so impressed with the way that they established a new world that I think the Mega Man part actually dragged it down and may have overshadowed the imaginativeness of it. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the gameplay. The first thing you may notice is that the controls have not aged that well. The movement and camera are awkward and require frequent reorientation, the failings of which are most pronounced during battles in tight spaces, which is most of them. I can't fault them though, since many early 3D games struggled with different experiments before the industry as a whole figured it out. Plus, the PS1 controller didn't even have analog sticks, so. The question is playability, and it is playable if you can unlearn a few things. A bigger complaint for me would be the targeting system, which I turned off altogether since I found it pretty much useless when there were 2 or more enemies on screen. So it's bad but forgivable, clumsy but functional. I actually thought the game was kind of hard at first, until I remembered how I did it the first time around. You run around in circles. The game itself is kind of interesting though, and without getting into too many specific details, it's like an action RPG set in some kind of weird anime universe. It has a very distinctive art style, and the voice acting is well executed.
Are you paying attention? You're not gonna get through this, robot son.
Half the game is a whimsical adventure with pirates and plenty of townspeople to talk to, and the other half is like an austere dungeon crawler. Now, I basically like the story and the characters, and certainly for the time it had very cinematic cutscenes and voices. But as an adult, it definitely comes across as a bit of a children's show. I mean, the weak gags, the Tron romance angle, the Servbots, Gramps. I could frankly do without it. I watched it for the purposes of research for this video, but it hurt a little bit.
Don't worry, we'll find it someday. And your parents, too.
Thanks. I know we will.
But there are a few amusing moments in the story. I love the police officers. They're the kindest, gentlest, most soft-spoken police officers in the world.
We need you to fill out some immigration forms. Ah, there you are. If I see him, I'll make sure he gets to a safe place.
You can't go in either.
But they're not very effective.
Wait, are you crazy?
Wait, where do you think you're going?
And what's with Mega Man? Did they realize that his voice actor is clearly Canadian?
What's that all about? Cut it out! This is the first time I've ever been here.
Sorry about the trouble, eh? There's something wrong with the opening narrator, too.
However, over the years, the story of a fabulous treasure, the legendary Mother Lode, began to be whispered among the diggers.
Please don't emphasize a word like that ever again.
One island to another in their flying machines.
And even though the voice actor for Teasel pulled a Gary Glitter and flushed his career down the drain, he definitely stole the show in a lot of places.
Time to blow him and that ship of his to Kingdom Come! All port cannons, prepare to fire!
The format of the game is relatively open. I mean, the story is a straight shot, but there's tons of other stuff and side quests to do, and that's where the game really shines. I spent a lot of time when I first played this game trying to upgrade all my special weapons. There was this laser weapon, oh man, it was awesome. Unfortunately, I didn't do everything in this most recent run, so I never got the laser weapon again. But Mega Man Legends was the type of game that you could turn on and find something to do, and you would never actually have to advance the story if you didn't want to. The underground portions of this game are probably my favorite as I replay it in the year 2016. They're essentially optional except for the story-related subgates, but they're a massive network of underground tunnels that interconnect every dungeon in the game. You're restricted at first by either tall ledges that require the jump springs upgrade to reach, or else by certain walls that require certain special weapons. All the items that you get to develop weapons are found within these dungeons, and a lot of money as well. It's fun to just run around, to complete your map a little bit, to find new areas, find new enemies that you haven't seen before. The music for these areas is a kind of atmospheric noise, background noise thing. It's kind of awesome. It's like eerie a little bit, kind of scary. Like literally, I'm kind of scared sometimes when I'm in the dungeon. And some of the robots that you find are a little scary. When I was a kid, I used to be scared of these guys. I used to imagine them jumping over roofs to come chase me home at night. Hey, remember when I said that the story was all kid stuff? Well, the end is actually awesome. Spoiler alert here, of course, but it turns out that you're actually like some kind of Terminator robot, and there's another guy named Mega Man, and there's like a whole group of like Mega Man robots, and man, it's awesome. It's just the twist the game needed, and it almost makes the family-friendly escapades that you just experienced worth it. After playing this, I certainly want to play Mega Man Legends 2, which recently came out on PSN, luckily. In fact, the version of Mega Man Legends that I'm playing is the PSN version, and with the Misadventures of Tron, that means the whole Mega Man Legends series is available on PSN, which is really cool. And as you may know, Concept is working on the game Red Ash, which is supposed to be a spiritual successor to the Mega Man Legends series. The development has been rife with problems, but I'll still play it when it comes out. I just hope that they continue the best parts about Mega Man Legends and don't continue what they think are the good parts. Just so I'm not misunderstood, I just hope that they don't think that the best part about Mega Man Legends was the cutscenes.
Huh? I see it! Land ho!
So that's that. Another game Hoverviewed. Please let me know if you have strong opinions about Mega Man Legends, or if you just want to make fun of Mega Man's voice. Again, I'm CoreyOTM, and Hoverview ends right now.
See you later.
Okay.
The movement and camera are awkward and require frequent reorientation. Frequent reorientation.